Whispering Woods is going large with the addition of not one, not two, but a total of 5 new species at the South America Dome. Genevieve Joyce is over the moon with the newest arrivals, but not close to as excited as Wesley Parsons, who is finally getting to work with his dream animal, the jaguar. To add to the excitement, Anna Kingston and Arthur Joyce return from South America with a big announcement. They are engaged. Turns out a little rescue mission on the other side of the world can reignite even the oldest of flames. Meanwhile, on the Silvercorp front, Liam Elliott is eager to make some changes. Though he had been buying lots of building materials from Silvercorp because of his grandfather's ties with them, he now threatens Sylvester Kane with an end to all building contracts with the corporation. Not only that, but Liam is willing to sell all of the inherited stocks while the price is high. Will money talk once more? Welcome back to Whispering Woods Wildlife Haven. Hey everyone, Sparrow here. Thank you for joining me once more, or for the first time if you're new here. I apologize for the delay in this episode. I finally got my editing software working once more. My recording equipment is once again working. So even though I have to re-record this voiceover, I hope this is still a fun episode. There are lots of things happening. So today we are filling in those 2 hills behind the rhea and tapir enclosure and the caiman enclosure. As you can see, I'm putting up some pretty tall fences, and that's because we are finally introducing the jaguar into Whispering Woods. This has been a plan since I think it's the introduction of the 2nd episode, where it states that Wesley's favorite animal is a jaguar, and that is the reason why he became a zookeeper. That is the animal that he wants to work with eventually, and it is finally here. So this has been a long time coming. Now we are doing another overpass because you know I love overpasses. But this time it's a little bit different because it's actually a habitat within a habitat. Don't ask me how long it took to set up the barriers for this. I actually redid them multiple times because at first I had it as one big enclosure where the jaguar got added into the tapir and rhea enclosure, and then I had to kind of carry it over. But you can also have an enclosure within an enclosure as long as staff have access to both habitat gates. And that is a cool trick for you if you ever want to do something like that, and that will allow the jaguar to cross from one side over that tapir and rhea walkway to the other. This is the jaguar backstage. We're just gonna build a concrete box essentially. They do have a platform up there. We'll have some stairs for the staff and so on. So this is pretty simple, just trying to fill things in back here so it's not completely bare, and it will also give the jaguar a little bit more room. I really love jaguars as a cat. There is a reason why Wesley's favorite animal is a jaguar, because it is one of my favorites. I remember being obsessed with black panthers when I was younger, and it wasn't until later, obviously, that I learned that, hey, that's actually a melanistic jaguar or a melanistic leopard. But yeah, and it's still so fun to blow the minds of my students when they find out that a black panther is actually just a leopard or a jaguar that's black. They have no idea. And that's one of my favorite things to teach them when we're doing like animal unit and how the different taxonomies work and species and stuff like that. So while we set up some sightlines with these massive trees, let's quickly discuss the differences between leopards and jaguars. Jaguars, which we're adding here, live in South America. They actually do travel up into North America sometimes as well, especially Mexico, southern United States, but they are found in the Americas, whereas leopards are found over in Africa and Asia. So that's one key difference. Another key difference would be the patterning on their coat. Leopards have more densely packed spots, while jaguars have these rosettes, and they have spots within those larger dots, which I find super, super beautiful. So a lot of the time, leopard print is actually jaguar print. And it's kind of funny when you see someone wearing what they call leopard print, but you're an animal nerd and you know that it's actually a jaguar print. I do know that jaguars also are a little bit stockier because they hunt by biting things to death, essentially. They have such strong jaws and long teeth that they can just crush the skulls of their prey, whereas leopards will suffocate their prey. And leopards do climb into trees a lot more. They're an ambush hunter. I feel like leopards are a little bit more like a jack of all trades because they can climb, they can run, they can jump, whereas jaguars are more so the bronze of the operation. But they are both big cats, and we'll be adding perhaps some more big cats to this zoo. Definitely another small cat, so stay tuned towards the end of this episode. Okay, now that we've done most of the planting, we're obviously going to add some more buffalo grass as well. And then one of my favorite parts of this enclosure, actually adding this little climbing frame over the water pool on the opposite side of the jaguar enclosure. This will help to satisfy their climbing need because even though we're now in sandbox, I did keep the space and animal requirements on. And just like that, we've got ourselves a jungle above the tapir and rhea enclosure. Those vines took way too long, but I just love the way they look. Over to the viewing window for our guests. We're going to frame that out with some of these driftwood pieces from the Oceania pack. Really love these. I don't know why I don't use them more often. I kind of just forget that they exist, I think. They're not climbable, but otherwise they would be perfect for climbing frames. And then I'm just going to mesh over that little top bit, give it a little bit more of a realistic look. Sometimes I find if you use only one or two materials, it doesn't look realistic. Whereas if you use even just mix in like a third, fourth material just for different textures, that helps to bring some realism into your builds. We're going to thatch that over, and then to help spruce up this plaza, we're going to add some exhibit boxes. So the center one, we have our iguana, and we will also have the giant Amazonian centipede, and also some tarantulas. No, potentially the bird-eating spider. I don't remember which one I put in there. So just a little bit of a spider warning. I don't believe we zoom in on it, but just in case anyone does not want to see insects or arachnids, there you go. You can skip ahead, but if not, keep watching. We have our 2 exhibits here for the spiders. So all I did is there's one exhibit box in there, and then I sank some mulch and flower beds into the bottom. There will be some leaf litter and some smaller greenery, and that just helps it look like there's a second exhibit up here, even though it's not real. Well, hopefully we can still see a spider up there, but I basically just segmented one of the big exhibit boxes into 2 smaller ones just to make it look a little bit more realistic. Also changing up the backgrounds here. Usually I use those 3D backgrounds that come with the exhibit boxes, but in this case I wanted to do something a little bit different. So we're using the woven palm panels. And then I'm going to build some pretend doors that the keepers would use to access these exhibits. These new metal pieces are absolutely fantastic for stuff like this, and they are flexi-color, which is just awesome. We love to see it. So we've got our small ones done, and then the larger one is going to go in for the iguana, and I'm just going to add some more metal pieces to that so that it actually looks 3D against the 3D backdrop. Some fun stickers on the window, and with that we are adding our last animal to the South America Dome. It's been, what, 6 episodes of South America Dome? Oh boy, like it's been a while. We've been in here for quite some time. I think our next animal will be something a little bit more arid, or think like African shrubland. I'll let you guess what animal it'll be in the comments. And we do have a fun surprise for that episode, so make sure you subscribe so that you don't miss it next time. But back to today's episode, we are building for another cat, and that is the Ocelot. These guys are so cute. They are probably one of my favorite South American cats, though like margays are super cute too. I would love to have an oncilla in the game, or a cod, something just super tiny and cute. I actually was surprised that the Ocelot was as big as it was. I thought they were smaller, but they're one of the larger cats out of the ones I just named. But anyway, we are going to fill in this entire corner. We're going for sort of a temple ruins vibe. And once I've set up my walls and my viewing area, I will get those null barriers all the way around so that we can get our Ocelot in and figure out exactly how much foliage they need. Well, there's only one in there. How much foliage he needs and how much climbing and all of that fun stuff. But before we do that, I wanted to add sort of a centerpiece to this viewing window, and it's going to be just a tiny little waterfall with some climbing features on top of it so you can spot the Ocelot climbing atop this water feature. I turned the waterfall onto its side, so you're getting the slightly slower flowing water that goes along the top of the piece rather than the actual like quick flowing waterfall hitting the ground. There's no way that the water would be flowing that quickly on this short of a distance. So we're gonna try to make it seem a little bit more realistic. And I'm covering that up with a whole bunch of the temperate rocks. We're going to try to meld that into the ground as best as possible. Just really going all out for these cats. Can you tell what my favorite clade of animals is? Of course, some vents just to make it look like there is a way to cycle the water, and we're going to hide a water effect piece in there as well. In order to make sure the Ocelot has enough climbing, we're going to add some fallen logs. Both of those do have climbing on them, and these African panels will help with that as well. This will be sort of the main climbing feature for the Ocelot right here, as it is directly in front of the viewing window. And because of the size of it, it'll be a nice visual break, from between the window and sort of the second part of the enclosure. Right now, it really feels open, like you can see practically the whole enclosure from the viewing windows. But once we get some trees in here, I think you'll see that the Ocelot actually has plenty of places to hide. It has lots of climbing opportunities, and the guests can't actually see the whole enclosure from this viewing window. So that's already starting to fill up nicely. Getting some shorter plants in here for some more interest. And of course, our buffalo grass all over the place. And these cute flowers at the front. These are the monkey orchids. Those will help to brighten up the place as people come to see the animals. What a gorgeous, gorgeous set of felines. I'm so happy these guys are finally in the zoo. There's just one cat in each enclosure, so they have plenty of space to roam around in. Also very happy with the addition of these exhibits. I always forget they exist because they're just so hard to work around, but I think we did pretty well hiding them in this wall here. This gorgeous mosaic is South American themed and off of the workshop. There's a link to a collection of all of the blueprints I've used in the description below. And with the addition of these enclosures, we are basically done the South America Dome. Next week, we might be jumping ship to a slightly different continent, but you can expect a tour of the finished South America Dome coming very soon to the channel. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to get updated when I upload next. And if you'd like to support me a little bit extra, you can always hit the join button to join the nest. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.